Imagine for a moment that your reality, the life you're living right now, isn't the ultimate truth. What if I told you that everything you see, touch, and feel is just a fraction of what's possible? You see, we often think of our world as concrete and unchangeable, a fixed set of rules that govern how we exist. But what if I told you that the reality you're experiencing is just one of many layers that you can shift, mold, and recreate through the power of quantum healing? Quantum healing is not just a buzzword or some abstract concept. It's a profound understanding that everything in the universe is interconnected through energy. This energy includes your thoughts, beliefs, emotions, and the very cells in your body. The fifth dimension, which we'll dive into, is not a physical place but a state of consciousness, a level of awareness that transcends the limitations of the third-dimensional reality we're so familiar with. It's where time and space dissolve, and we begin to experience life from a higher perspective of unity, love, and infinite possibilities. You might be wondering, how can quantum healing possibly shift my reality? Let's start with the basics. Quantum physics has proven that reality is not as solid as we once thought. At the most fundamental level, everything is made up of energy, even the objects that seem so real and physical. And this energy is constantly vibrating, constantly interacting with the energy around it. What's even more fascinating is that your thoughts and intentions have the power to influence this energy. That's right, you have the ability to shift your reality simply by shifting your consciousness.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
I think about this. Every thought you have creates a ripple effect in the quantum field. This field is like an infinite web of potential, a cosmic ocean of possibility where every reality already exists. When you shift your thoughts, you're essentially tuning into a different frequency in this field. And when you shift your frequency, you shift the reality you experience. It's like tuning a radio. The station you're on is determined by the frequency you're vibrating at. But here's where quantum healing comes in. It's not just about manifesting a new reality through thoughts alone. It's about healing the deep-rooted blockages that keep you anchored in lower vibrational states of fear, doubt, and limitation. These blockages exist in your energy field, and they affect everything: your health, your relationships, your career, and your sense of purpose. Quantum healing allows you to clear these blockages, raising your vibration and aligning you with the higher frequencies of the fifth dimension. So, the question is, are you willing to let go of the old version of yourself? The one that's stuck in the illusion of separation, in the belief that life happens to you instead of through you. Because shifting to the fifth dimension requires a deep level of surrender. It's a process of letting go of the ego's need for control and trusting in the flow of the universe. It's about understanding that you are not separate from the universe. You are the universe experiencing itself in human form. Take a moment and reflect. What would your life look like if you knew, without a doubt, that you could shape your reality? How would you act? What choices would you make? This shift in perspective is the first step in quantum healing. It's about recognizing that you are a powerful creator, and the reality you experience is a reflection of your inner world. As you heal and align your energy, you begin to manifest a new external reality, one that's in harmony with the highest version of yourself. But this process of shifting to the fifth dimension isn't always easy. We're conditioned to believe in limitations. We're told that we need to work hard, struggle, and sacrifice to achieve success or happiness. But these are just outdated programs running in the background of your mind. And the good news is they can be rewritten. Through quantum healing, we can release these old, limiting beliefs and replace them with new, empowering ones. And as we do, we begin to experience reality from a higher perspective, a perspective where anything is possible. So, how do you begin this journey of quantum healing? The first step is awareness. You need to become aware of the thoughts, beliefs, and emotions that are currently shaping your reality. Are they aligned with the reality you want to create? Or are they keeping you stuck in a lower vibrational state? Once you become aware, you can begin to consciously shift them. And this is where meditation, visualization, and energy healing come into play. These practices allow you to tap into the quantum field and reprogram your subconscious mind with new, higher vibrational thoughts and beliefs. But here's the thing, quantum healing is not a one-time event. It's a continuous process of aligning your energy with the higher frequencies of the fifth dimension. And as you do, you'll start to notice subtle shifts in your reality. Synchronicities will occur more frequently, opportunities will appear out of nowhere, and you'll begin to feel a sense of flow and ease in your life. These are all signs that you're shifting into the fifth dimension, where reality is no longer governed by the rules of the third dimension. Now, before we move on, I want to ask you something. What's one belief or thought pattern that you know is holding you back? Take a moment to reflect on this. Write it down if you need to, because identifying these limiting beliefs is the first step in healing them. And once you heal them, you'll open the door to a new reality, one that's aligned with the highest version of yourself. As we continue this journey into quantum healing and the shift to the fifth dimension, it's time to face one of the most important aspects of the process: dissolving limiting beliefs. These beliefs are like invisible chains that keep you anchored in the matrix of the third dimensional reality. They're the thoughts, stories, and perceptions that tell you what is and isn't possible. But here's the thing, these beliefs aren't real. They're illusions, fragments of past experiences, societal conditioning, and fear-based programming. And if you can identify and dissolve them, you can unlock the infinite potential that exists within you. Let's start with a question that will take you deep. What if everything you've been taught about reality is a lie? I think about it. From a young age, we're conditioned to believe in certain limitations, whether it's about money, success, love, or happiness. We're told that achieving our dreams requires struggle, that we have to earn our worth, that we're separate from the universe, and that life is something we need to control or fight against. But what if none of that is true? What if the only thing keeping you from experiencing the reality you desire is your belief in these limitations? The matrix is real, but it's not what many think. It's not some external system designed to control you. Rather, it's an internal prison, a web of beliefs and perceptions that keep you stuck in a lower vibrational frequency. And the more you buy into these beliefs, the more you reinforce the illusion of separation and limitation. But here's the good news, you have the power to break free. Quantum healing offers the key to dissolving these beliefs and allowing you to access the infinite potential of the fifth dimension, where those limitations no longer exist. So, how do we begin dissolving these limiting beliefs? The first step is awareness and identification. Most of the time, these beliefs are running in the background of your mind, like a program you're not even aware of. They manifest as self-doubt, fear, anxiety, or feelings of unworthiness. For example, you might tell yourself, "I'm not good enough," or "I don't deserve success," or even, "Life is hard." Do any of these sound familiar? These are all beliefs that have been implanted through past experiences, often reinforced by society. But the truth is, these beliefs are not facts, they're just thoughts that you've accepted as truth. Take a moment and ask yourself, What beliefs are currently shaping my life? Be brutally honest with yourself. But don't judge these beliefs, simply observe them. Write them down if it helps. The key here is to become aware of the stories you've been telling yourself, because once you're aware of them, you can begin to change them. The next step is to question these beliefs. This is where we begin to break free from the matrix. Ask yourself, is this belief really true? For example, if you have a belief that I can never be financially abundant, ask yourself, is that absolutely true? Or is this just a story I've been telling myself? When you start questioning your beliefs, you'll begin to see that they're not as solid as they seemed. In fact, most of them will crumble under the light of awareness. Let me share something profound. Every limiting belief you have is based on fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown. But fear is an illusion. It's a product of the ego, which is always trying to keep you safe by staying within the boundaries of what's familiar. But here's the thing. The ego is not designed to lead you to your highest potential. Its job is to maintain the status quo, to keep you in the comfort zone of the third-dimensional reality. But if you want to shift to the fifth dimension, you have to transcend the ego's limitations and step into the unknown. This is where trust and surrender come into play. Quantum healing requires you to trust in the process of life, to surrender your need for control, and to allow the universe to guide you. The fifth dimension operates on a different set of rules than the third dimension. In the third dimension, we're taught to believe in linear time, cause and effect, and struggle. But in the fifth dimension, reality is fluid. Time is not linear, and everything you desire already exists in the quantum field. All you need to do is align with it. But how do you align with your desired reality? This brings us to the next key aspect of quantum healing: reprogramming your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is like a sponge, absorbing every thought, belief, and emotion you experience. And it's incredibly powerful. It governs 95% of your thoughts and actions. If you want to shift your reality, you have to reprogram your subconscious mind to align with the reality you want to create. There are many ways to do this, but one of the most powerful techniques is visualization. When you visualize your desired reality, you're not just imagining it, you're creating it in the quantum field. Your mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. So when you visualize yourself living in the fifth dimension, experiencing abundance, love, joy, and peace, you're literally rewiring your brain and reprogramming your subconscious mind to align with that reality. But here's the key: you have to feel it. Visualization isn't just about seeing the images in your mind. It's about feeling the emotions associated with that reality. How would it feel to live in the fifth dimension? How would it feel to be completely free of limiting beliefs, to live in a state of flow and ease, to experience infinite possibilities? The more you can tap into those feelings, the faster you'll shift your reality. And this brings us to the final step in dissolving limiting beliefs, taking aligned action. Quantum healing is not just about shifting your thoughts and emotions, it's also about aligning your actions with your desired reality. If you want to live in the fifth dimension, you have to start acting as if you're already there. This doesn't mean pretending or forcing anything. It means making choices from a place of trust and alignment. It means taking action that's in harmony with your highest self, even if it feels uncomfortable or unfamiliar. So, let me ask you a super deep question. What's one action you can take today that aligns with the reality you want to create? It doesn't have to be a big step, just something that moves you closer to the fifth dimension. Maybe it's starting a new project, reaching out to someone who inspires you, or simply letting go of a fear that's been holding you back. Whatever it is, take that step. Because every action you take in alignment with your highest self is a step closer to breaking free from the matrix and unlocking the infinite potential of the fifth dimension. Now that we've touched on dissolving limiting beliefs and stepping into your unlimited potential, let's dive even deeper into the experience of living in the fifth dimension. What does it actually mean to live beyond time, space, and limitation? How does it feel? And more importantly, how can we embody this new reality in our everyday lives? First, we need to understand that the fifth dimension is not a physical location, it's a level of consciousness. It's a state of being where you operate from a higher frequency, where you're no longer bound by the dense, materialistic, and fear-driven limitations of the third dimension. In the 3D world, we're often stuck in survival mode, constantly worrying about the future, dwelling on the past, and feeling separate from others and the universe. But in the fifth dimension, those illusions fall away, and you begin to experience life from a place of unity, love, and infinite possibility. So what does it feel like to live in the fifth dimension? Imagine waking up every day with a sense of peace, knowing that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. There's no more anxiety about the future or regret about the past, because in the fifth dimension, time is not linear. Instead, everything exists in the present moment, and you begin to understand that the past, present, and future are all happening simultaneously. You're able to access different timelines and dimensions of your life, and you realize that you have the power to shift your reality at any moment. Let me ask you something. What would your life look like if you were no longer bound by time? If you didn't feel like you were racing against the clock, trying to cram in as much as possible before it's too late? How much more expansive and free would you feel? This is one of the most profound shifts that happens when you move into the fifth dimension. You stop living by the artificial construct of time and start living in the eternal now. You realize that you are an infinite being, and that time is just a tool we use to navigate the third dimension. But in the fifth dimension, time becomes fluid, and you can bend and shape it to your will. Another key aspect of the fifth dimension is the dissolution of space. In the 3D world, we're conditioned to believe that we're separate from everything around us, separate from other people, from nature, and even from the universe. But in the fifth dimension, you begin to experience the interconnectedness of all things. You realize that there is no separation, that we are all part of the same energetic field, and that everything you think, feel, and do has an impact on the whole. This shift in perspective is often accompanied by a deep sense of oneness. You start to feel a profound connection to the people around you, to the earth, and to the cosmos. You might even begin to experience moments of telepathy, where you just know what someone else is thinking or feeling without them having to say a word. These experiences are signs that you're tuning into the higher frequencies of the fifth dimension, where the boundaries between self and others start to blur. But perhaps the most important aspect of living in the fifth dimension is the dissolution of limitation. In the 3D world, we're taught that life is governed by certain rules about what's possible and what's not. We're told that there are limits to how much we can achieve, how much we can experience, and how much we can love. But in the fifth dimension, those limits simply don't exist. Anything is possible. And I mean anything. I think about that for a moment. What would you do if you knew there were no limits? If you knew that you could create any reality you desired simply by aligning your thoughts, emotions, and actions with the frequency of that reality? This is the essence of quantum healing in the fifth dimension. It's about tapping into the infinite potential that exists within you and using that potential to create a life that's in alignment with your higher self. But to truly live in the fifth dimension, you have to let go of the need for control. You have to surrender to the flow of the universe and trust that everything is happening for your highest good. This can be a challenging shift for many of us, especially if we've spent our lives trying to control every aspect of our reality. But here's the thing, control is an illusion. The more you try to control your life, the more resistance you create, and the harder it becomes to manifest what you truly desire. Living in the fifth dimension requires you to step into a state of allowing things to unfold naturally without forcing or pushing. It's about trusting that the universe knows exactly what you need and that it will deliver it in the perfect way and at the perfect time. This doesn't mean you sit back and do nothing, it means you take inspired action, but from a place of trust and alignment, not from a place of fear or desperation. So, how do we embody the fifth dimension in our daily lives? It starts with awareness. You need to become aware of the thoughts, beliefs, and emotions that are keeping you anchored in the third dimension. Are you constantly worrying about the future? Are you holding on to old patterns of fear and doubt? Are you trying to control every aspect of your life rather than trusting in the flow of the universe? Once you become aware of these patterns, you can begin to shift them. One of the most powerful practices for embodying the fifth dimension is meditation. When you meditate, you're able to quiet the mind and tune into the higher frequencies of the quantum field. You begin to access the stillness and peace that exists beyond the noise of the third dimensional world. And in that stillness, you can connect with your higher self, the part of you that's already living in the fifth dimension. During meditation, you can visualize yourself living in the fifth dimension. What does it feel like to be free of limitation? To live in a state of unconditional love and unity? To experience life from a higher perspective, where everything is happening for your highest good? The more you can tap into these feelings, the more you'll begin to embody the fifth dimensional frequency in your daily life. But meditation is just one tool. Another powerful practice is heart-centered living. In the fifth dimension, the mind takes a back seat and the heart becomes the guiding force. This means living from a place of love, compassion, and intuition, rather than from fear, judgment, and logic. When you make decisions from your heart, you're aligning with the frequency of the fifth dimension, and you'll find that life begins to flow with more ease and grace. Let me ask you a profound question. What would your life look like if you made every decision from your heart? If you stopped overthinking, stopped analyzing, and simply followed the guidance of your inner wisdom? How much lighter and more joyful would your life become? This is the essence of heart-centered living, and it's one of the most powerful ways to embody the fifth dimension. Lastly, living in the fifth dimension requires you to stay open. Open to new possibilities, open to the unknown, and open to the magic of life. The fifth dimension is a realm of infinite potential, and the more you can stay open to that potential, the more you'll experience miracles and synchronicities in your life. These are signs that you're in alignment with the quantum field, and that you're co-creating your reality with the universe. So, as we wrap up this part of our journey, I want to leave you with one last question. Are you ready to live in the fifth dimension? Are you ready to let go of fear, control, and limitation and step into a reality where anything is possible? The choice is yours. The fifth dimension is already here, it's simply waiting for you to align with it. Now that we've explored what it feels like to live in the fifth dimension, it's time to take that understanding and put it into action. Because knowing about the fifth dimension and quantum healing is one thing, but truly harnessing this power to transform your life is something entirely different. This part of the journey is where the real magic happens, where you shift from simply understanding these concepts to actively using them to create profound change in every area of your existence. Let me ask you this: what would your life look like if you lived from a place of complete alignment with the universe's infinite potential? Imagine waking up every day knowing that you're a co-creator of your reality, that you're not a victim of circumstances, but a master of your own vibrational energy. This is the essence of quantum healing in action. It's about stepping into your power, realizing that nothing outside of you has control over your experience, and learning how to use the energy of the fifth dimension to consciously design your life. The first step in harnessing the power of quantum healing is to shift your consciousness. This means moving from a state of fear, doubt, and separation into a state of trust, love, and unity. In the third dimension, we often operate from a mind-centered consciousness where logic, analysis, and control dominate our decisions. But in the fifth dimension, we shift into a heart-centered consciousness where intuition, trust, and flow guide our actions. So, how do you make this shift? It begins with awareness, becoming conscious of how you're currently thinking, feeling, and acting. Are your thoughts aligned with the reality you want to create? Are your emotions matching the frequency of abundance, love, and joy? Or are you still holding on to fear, anger, or resentment? The energy you put out into the universe is what you attract back. So if you want to shift your reality, you must first shift your internal state. One of the most effective ways to make this shift is through mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment without judgment or attachment. When you're mindful, you're able to observe your thoughts and emotions without getting caught up in them. This is essential for quantum healing because it allows you to become aware of the energy you're emitting and make conscious choices to shift it. For example, let's say you're feeling anxious about a situation in your life. Maybe it's a relationship, your job, or your financial situation. In the third dimension, this anxiety might spiral into a chain of negative thoughts, reinforcing the belief that things aren't going to work out. But when you practice mindfulness, you can step back and observe the anxiety without getting sucked into it. You might say to yourself, I notice I'm feeling anxious right now, but I know that this is just energy. I have the power to shift this. Then, you can consciously choose to release the anxiety and replace it with a higher vibration, whether it's gratitude, love, or trust. This brings us to the next key component of quantum healing: vibrational alignment. Everything in the universe is energy, vibrating at different frequencies. The fifth dimension operates at a higher frequency than the third dimension, which means that to access its power, you must raise your own vibration. This is why emotions like love, joy, gratitude, and compassion are so powerful. They vibrate at a higher frequency and can instantly shift your reality. So, how do you raise your vibration? It starts with self-awareness and conscious choice. Throughout your day, pay attention to how you're feeling. Are you in a state of fear or love? Are you focused on what's lacking in your life or what you're grateful for? The more you can shift your focus toward positive, high-vibration emotions, the more you'll begin to attract experiences that match that frequency. One powerful practice for raising your vibration is gratitude. Gratitude is one of the highest vibrations you can align with, and it has the power to transform your reality in an instant. When you express gratitude, you're sending a signal to the universe that you're in alignment with abundance, and the universe responds by giving you more to be grateful for. This is not just about thanking the universe for the good things in your life, it's about finding gratitude for everything, even the challenges and obstacles you face. Let me ask you, what are you grateful for right now? Take a moment to really feel into that gratitude. Notice how it shifts your energy. When you focus on gratitude, you're aligning with the flow of the universe, and from this place, quantum healing becomes effortless. But gratitude is just the beginning. To fully harness the power of the fifth dimension, you must also learn how to let go. This is perhaps one of the most challenging aspects of quantum healing, because we're so conditioned to believe that we need to control everything in our lives. But control is an illusion. It's based on fear, and fear is a low vibration emotion that keeps you stuck in the third dimension. In the fifth dimension, manifestation doesn't happen through force or control, it happens through surrender. Surrendering doesn't mean giving up or being passive. It means trusting that the universe knows what's best for you and allowing things to unfold in divine timing. When you let go of the need to control every outcome, you open yourself up to the infinite possibilities of the quantum field. The universe can then deliver solutions and opportunities that are far beyond anything your mind could have planned. So, how do you practice surrender? It starts with trust. Trusting that the universe has your back, that everything is happening for your highest good, even if it doesn't seem that way in the moment. When you surrender, you're releasing the resistance that blocks the flow of energy in your life. You're allowing yourself to be guided by your higher self, which always knows the best path for you. One way to practice surrender is through meditation. Meditation allows you to quiet the mind, release attachment to outcomes, and tune into the higher frequencies of the fifth dimension. When you meditate, you're able to access the quantum field and connect with your higher self, the part of you that already exists in the fifth dimension and is guiding you on your journey. Through meditation, you can receive intuitive insights, downloads, and guidance that will help you align with your highest reality. But surrender also requires you to take inspired action. Quantum healing is not just about sitting back and waiting for the universe to do the work for you. It's about co-creating your reality through aligned action. This means taking steps toward your goals, but from a place of flow and trust rather than fear and control. For example, let's say you're trying to manifest a new job. In the third dimension, you might feel the need to apply to hundreds of positions, network relentlessly, and push yourself to the point of burnout. But in the fifth dimension, you would tune into your intuition, trust that the right job is already on its way to you, and take inspired action from a place of alignment. This might mean applying to fewer jobs, but focusing on the ones that truly resonate with your soul. Or it might mean taking a step back and allowing the universe to bring the right opportunity to you at the perfect time. The key is to find the balance between action and surrender. You don't need to force things to happen, but you also don't want to be passive. Instead, you want to take aligned action that feels inspired and in flow with the universe. When you do this, you're tapping into the quantum field, and things will begin to manifest with ease and grace. Another powerful tool for harnessing the power of the fifth dimension is visualization. Visualization allows you to see and feel the reality you want to create. And as we've discussed, the quantum field responds to the energy you emit. When you visualize yourself living in the fifth dimension, experiencing abundance, love, health, and joy, you're aligning with that reality and drawing it into your experience. But here's the key to effective visualization: you must feel it. It's not enough to just imagine the images in your mind, you have to tap into the emotions that come with it. How would you feel if you were already living your dream life? How would you feel if you were free from all limitations, living in perfect harmony with the universe? The more you can tap into those feelings, the more you'll raise your vibration and align with the fifth dimensional reality. So, let's take a moment right now to do a quick visualization exercise. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Imagine yourself living in the fifth dimension. See yourself experiencing unlimited abundance, perfect health, fulfilling relationships, and a deep sense of inner peace. Notice how it feels in your body. Let that feeling expand, filling your entire being with the frequency of love, joy, and gratitude. Now, hold on to that feeling as you go about your day and notice how the universe begins to respond to your new vibration. As we wrap up this final part of the journey, I want to leave you with one last question. What reality are you ready to create? You have the power right now to shift your consciousness, raise your vibration, and align with the infinite possibilities of the fifth dimension. The time is now to step into your highest potential, to harness the power of quantum healing, and to transform your life in ways you never thought possible. The fifth dimension is already here. It's waiting for you to align with it. Are you ready to take the leap?